Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for joining CNBC.
Great to be here with you.
I want to kick off by asking you to give us a bit of a timeline, in your view, of what's going to happen next with regards to these China talks. You through phase one. Are we talking phase 2, 3, 4? What happens next?
Well, first of all, let me just say phase one is really a very significant achievement. This is a historic deal. We've never had anything like this. It addresses very significant issues: technology transfer, intellectual property, structural agricultural issues, financial services, and currencies. So we couldn't be more excited about the impact that this is going to have on the U.S. economy and U.S. jobs. We're going to go through a very short period of time of having the translation scrubbed. The deal will be signed in early January, and then we'll start phase 2. In phase 2, maybe 2A, 2B, 2C, we'll see. But this into itself is a huge accomplishment for the president.
What do you say to those critics who complain that this phase 1 didn't accomplish anything, really?
Well, in all fairness, people are just beginning to understand the details of phase 1. We're in the process of putting out fact sheets that go through what it is. You know, this has been a long process over the last 2 years, and people have seen the ups and downs. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to digest the significance of this.
Give me a little bit more on that in terms of the significance you see in phase 1. What was the most surprising thing you were able to push through, in your view?
Well, I wouldn't say it's surprising, but I would say the most impactful issue of this has all been about intellectual property and tech transfer, and that's a major part of the deal. People who said, oh, this is just about buying agriculture, that's not the case at all. But by the way, we have no problem with them buying a lot of agriculture. That's good for our farmers. But also, big opening of financial services. I think, you know, the U.S. leads in financial services. That's a great opportunity for U.S. jobs.
In terms of what happened just over the last few days, we didn't just get a U.S.-China phase 1, we also got a resounding victory for the Tories in the United Kingdom over this Brexit vote, over this election. Walk me through what happens next on the U.S. side, because the president has signaled multiple times that a trade deal with the United Kingdom could be coming.
Well, let me just say before we get to that, we also had another big advance in the U.S., which was U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. This is an enormous trading deal, our biggest trading bloc. Getting that passed in the House and then going to the Senate, I think that's going to add 50 to 75 basis points to U.S. GDP. So that's a very big deal. Now, getting back to the UK, you know, my expectation is that the Prime Minister will now get his deal on Brexit done, which I think is a good thing for the UK economy. The UK just needs stability on this issue. We've been hearing for too long, they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. And we'll begin trading discussions with them. We're very much looking forward to that trading relationship.
So you're already on it when it comes to a trade deal with
Absolutely.
the UK. Walk me through what happens next with regards to your plans in the United States, not just U.S.-China trade, but elsewhere. As a result of impeachment, the country's eye is very much not on potentially what the administration is actually accomplishing. How worried are you that that detracts from what you're trying to do?
It doesn't detract at all. Matter of fact, you know, this week alone, we have USMCA, we have China trade, and I've been working on the appropriations deal. I expect that we'll have next week our appropriations package passed on a bipartisan basis. It's very good for our military. It's very good for other areas of the government. So things are still working.
And in terms of Europe, you mentioned on the panel, European growth is slowing. What's your take on where we go from here with regards to the United States and Europe in terms of a trade deal, in terms of making the terms better, at least for the president? How far do you think we're going to be able to push that in the coming months?
Well, our view on Europe is the same as our view has been with China, and our view is Mexico and Canada. We just want free and fair reciprocal trade. So we have a significant trade deficit with Europe. Europe has a lot of actions that protect Europe and block our countries from being able to compete on a fair reciprocal basis. All we want is free and fair and reciprocal trade, and that's something we'll continue to focus on.
Do you think you can get that from the EU?
We'll see.
So great to see you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.